It's your job. I give you money, you give me ideas.
And you never say thank you.
That's what the money is for.
Oh, I am game for this shit. If you are listening and not watching, why calling women females is a microaggression with, okay. So, the person before us, I can't tell if it is, like, what the biological makeup is, but, let's just get let's just get this party started, eh? Let's go.
Hey, Benji here, and this is why calling women females is a microaggression.
See, here's the thing. Benji, if you are biologically male, right? If you're packing a Y chromosome, I can kind of just dismiss you because you're not a chick. Yeah? But if you double Xing it, then I'm gonna approach this conversation as if you're double Xing it, my guy. All right? So Benji, that's the individual's name. Okay, because I genuinely kind of can't tell, but let's go.
Microaggressions are indirect forms of discrimination with implied negative connotations that are usually directed at members of societally marginalized groups.
Okay, so I don't know where the hell you from, but I mean, what do you consider marginalized? You know, seriously, break it down. Conceptually speaking, what would you consider a marginalized group? Because the consensus, so it would seem, is all your little intersections when it comes to, female, biological sex, race, and class, right? What do you consider marginalized? Because I, for one, would consider marginalization at the class level far quicker than I would consider that at a biological or at a biological or a cultural level. But let's keep going.
They're a powerful discriminatory force that reinforce societal prejudices. Females.
So here's the thing. What do you consider societal prejudices? Because I can't help but feel, and this is just my interpretation from the ideology that you present, Benji, that you're presenting from, that you consider it, traditional roles within that makes up the familial structure, where dad does his biological role, which is provide and protect. Mom does her biological role, which is nurture and take care of home. And for some strange reason, I would like for you to explain to me exactly how and why that's bad. That's a bad thing to you. How does that end up to be a prejudice, right? Because societal role, well, that's just what expected of me. But that's the thing. But the societal roles are biological roles, and something tells me there, Benji, that you want to sit here and throw out gender and say how because that's just that's not how we're biologically, and completely dismiss the biological factors that make up that really go towards all those prejudices and all your perceived slights.
Refers to the sex of animals that produce eggs, whilst only humans can be women. Therefore, referring to women as females carries an implication that is objectifying and dehumanizing. We also...
How so? Because female is the biological term, for that portion of our species. Male is the biological term for that portion of the species. And the example that you threw out there, Benji, is that of animals, which I don't know if you realize this. There are male and female animals, and you just threw out animals, and you didn't even bring up specific insects and shit. That's they reproduce asexually. You just said animals. Okay. Because I can point you to the eggs that to the lady fish that lay the eggs and the male fish that blow a load on top of them after they. I mean, man, fish sex is weird. And or we can just go into the countless different quote unquote animals and how they breed, but they breed from two different biological spaces. You need both of those biological spaces to create life, which, you know, should be the point of it. Right or wrong? Like, am I missing something here? Like, ultimately, as far as like the grand scheme of the world and society and our species as a whole is to reproduce and continue the species, particularly under your, like, you know what I'm saying, under the familial unit, where the next generation don't particularly end up, oh, I hate to say it, but like you there, buddy, you know, just like, oh yeah, well, it's prejudice for girls to like girly things. Like, it's not prejudice, it's like, yo, that's the way their brains are wired. And it's unfortunate that there's been so many attempts and so many cracks at academia to really just dismantle biology in and of itself, and we've stagnated in I don't want to sit there and say, because trust me, there's tons of amazing research being done every single day without question, but to, like, you know, the resources that have been spent on like gender bullshit really could have been tossed on over there. But yeah, all right, let's keep going, Benj.
We live in a patriarchal society where men hold power over women, and we don't.
No, we really don't. Benji boy, we really don't. Because if we did, I'd have my family. I wouldn't be so, you know, tripping. I wouldn't be so caught up in the commitment part of having a family and the, you know, the legal binding of myself to another human being because of the potential damage that human being can do to me, basically at her whim. And that's just the interpersonal. Let's not pretend as if, you know, men and women get anywhere near the exact same prison sentences and the family courts. I mean, what a joke, right? My goodness. And if I were to ever get married and I end up finding myself in family court, because that's something that, you know, I could never put my kids through. But either ways, that's me. Benji, that's just, you are approaching this from a mirror perspective, where you're like, oh man, men just have all this patriarchal power just because we happen to see men everywhere, and the reason you see men is because men are just, you know, naturally more ambitious. That's just how that works. But yeah, no. Biology, what are those?
Typically refer to men as males in common conversation. Therefore, the use of the term females, especially...
Actually, I mean, in common conversation, at least here in the States, I don't know where the fuck you are, Benji, but at least here in the States, my individual, sorry, I'm leaning towards it being a dude, but but either ways, the way that you're leaning here, brother, it's just that ain't the move. That ain't the groove.
From men reinforces the patriarchy and the systemic subordination of women.
Nah, it really doesn't. You know, Brittany Renner has just finessed the NBA player out of $2 million a fucking year. I don't think that. I genuinely don't think you're looking at this from a perspective, from a more balanced perspective there, Benj. So, guys, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. I just found this really interesting because it's like, yeah, like it's more of that, you know what I'm saying, like that donut where they refuse to acknowledge, like that lack of acknowledgement of biology because they know nothing but gender and, oh yeah, well, like all things are equal, all things are even. It's just like, no it ain't. Like, no it ain't. But all the internet stuff. If you like it, toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub, you enjoy my fantastic voice. You want to get videos like this every single day, share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute, like, aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications. Get something from Teespring. Check me out on Patreon as well. Links in the description. Actually, go in the description box and do damage and speak. Let me know what do you guys think in the comments. Yeah, this is just ridiculous, and this is probably going to be a Patreon only video because of how many other videos I've done just wrecking these morons when it comes to like the gender bullshit that they've come to accept as legitimate science, when in reality, nah, it ain't. It's complete horseshit. But you may disagree, and that's what my comment section's always open for. Until the next one.
Jimmy, you're thinking with your dick.
I am not thinking with my dick.
Yes, you are.
No, I just think that
Put
she's
your dick away.
she's an emotional,
Jim.
interesting, caring girl.
Jimmy, that's your dick talking.